It's the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 11, and it reads, "Least Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices." I want to start off by giving all praises, all honor, and all glory to God, Loyam, La Yahweh, Hashem Yahushai, Hashem Kadosh Baruch. I say double honors to my apostles, the elders of the great millstone, who teach and do rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim, across the four corners of the earth, pushing the truth and faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Akwa out there listening and learning. Lord willingly, this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but whom subscribe to this truth. To you I say shalom. It's brother Yawasop, and basically I was inspired to do this lesson on a video I saw on YouTube. I'm gonna say fair use, because I'm gonna play probably like the first 5 minutes of this video, and it's just going into pretty much the state of the economy. That's how we know, what happens next, because the Most High, it tells you in the scriptures in the book of Amos chapter 3 that the Most High revealeth his secrets unto the servants, the prophets. So when you go into Isaiah 46, it says declaring the end from the beginning. We know what's going to take place because we are seers. We can see, we have the vision, the eyesight. We can see what the Lord has set up because it's all written in the scriptures. And these things will soon come to pass. So without further ado, I'm gonna play the video, but again, I want to say fair use. I'm not profiting off of this information in any way. I'm just linking up what's in the scriptures with what's going on today.
Do you ever wonder how the swamp spends your hard-earned money? They drop large sums of money we don't.
Mr. Speaker, and to my friend from Missouri, thank you. Actually, sometimes I come behind these microphones, and often what I want to share, what I need to share, it's my therapy, is a bit dour. And it's sometimes fun to listen to someone that actually has happy and joyous. All right, now that the uplifting portion of this program is over, let's get to the facts. Mr. Speaker, or now Madam Speaker Pro Tem, you see the number, 35 trillion. Guess when we hit it? We should be very, very excited and proud of ourselves. We did something that so many economists said we would never get to this quick. My math says this coming Friday, 3 p.m., the United States gross debt will cross over 35 trillion. Now understand, that's not the way Europeans calculate our debt, which they calculate our debt dramatically higher because of our obligated unfunded liabilities. But you're gonna watch the Treasury Friday about 3 p.m. post up a number, $35 trillion. We did it. Congratulations. And how many people have you heard come find the microphone today or this week, understanding, wanting to talk about that? What we've gotten is people coming behind the microphone and not telling the truth. We all want to protect Social Security. The way you protect Social Security is you know the math and how it actually works. We're on track in a decade to double senior poverty. But God forbid any of us tell the truth about math. Because the truth gets you unelected and a bunch of really angry ads at home. So this place runs around and avoids telling the truth. So let's walk through another little factoid. My math basically says this year, 45.68% of all the income tax collections, receipts, your government takes in, just cover the cost of interest.
I'm gonna rewind that a little bit because you need to understand what he just said.
Of all the income tax collections, receipts, your government takes in, just cover the cost of interest. I'd been coming behind the microphone and saying, hey, interest in 2024, this fiscal year, would be somewhere around a little less than 1.2 trillion. I apparently have that wrong. It's probably going to come in about 1 trillion, 140 to 60 billion dollars. Either way, I'm off a fraction. But 45.68% of every dime we're collecting in your income tax now just pays interest. And I've tried to say over and over and over at home and other places, and you get people to just stare at you and go, huh? Who really runs this government?
And that's perfect. Because who really runs the government? Well, it tells you in the scriptures in the book of Job. Matter of fact, I'm going to get it real quick. This is the book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. It reads, he covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? So the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. And who is the wicked? In the book of Malachi, it tells you Esau, Edom is the border of wickedness. And how a brother broke it down, which that was the first brother I ever heard break it down like that. He said, meaning all wickedness, he's the start and the ending of all wickedness in the earth. This so-called white man who's actually red in appearance, who is the spirit, the physical counterpart of the physical demon Satan. He plays the part of Satan on the earth. So he runs this government, and with the system that they put in place, you'll never get out of this. So it's ultimately been set up to create that digital system. When you go into history, you find out that all fiat currencies have failed. You have a system based on interest and usury. A lot of it's, look at the banking system. They pretty much can have $100 in the bank, but loan up to 10 times of that. So they can loan up to 1,000. That's why a lot of these banks aren't loaning. It says fiat money is a form of currency issued by a government. Instead of being backed by a physical commodity like gold, fiat is backed by its issuing government. The value of fiat currencies like the US dollar, yen, or euro are based on supply and demand in the market. So this system is going to crash based on the fact because a lot of the other nations, especially the BRICS, are no longer using, the American dollar. Saudi Arabia basically hadn't renewed the petrodollar, or if I'm mistaken, I don't want to give out the wrong information. I think instead of just using solely US dollars, they're using other currencies as well. But that's why you have this high interest, because, it's an accumulation of more dollars being sent back to America. So the cost of good is like the elder Apostle Tahar, the beloved elder, always says, it's not that things are costing more, it's the money is getting weaker. Explain usury real quick. In the Old Testament, the Bible condemns the practice of charging interest or usury on loans to fellow Israelites who are poor. So it was forbidden for us to charge interest to our brothers and sisters. Now, what we did with the heathen, it didn't matter, but as far as your brothers and your sisters, you're not supposed to charge interest. Now, Esau, Edom, who the earth is given into hand, and with this financial system that he has in place, he charges interest on everybody, showing you who the devil truly is. And this system is the reason why the money's going to fail. And they're trying to bring in a new system where they pretty much control everything. And I was listening to a brother today. They said there's two ways that you can try to put a stranglehold on society: by the food or the money. That's pretty much. I don't got to bring no more of that video out. So, this is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2. I'm going to start at verse 1, and it reads, Habakkuk 2:1, or Habakkuk. Wow. It's crazy. Maybe it's that hot. Let's try it again. I know I am sweating like a Hebrew slave. Let's try and find another app that I can actually get the scripture in. This is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2 and verse 1, and it reads, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. So this is Habakkuk pretty much being put in a position as a watchman or a seer, a prophet. And we, all the brothers that's out here on the highways and hedges and, pushing the truth week in, week out, day by day, because it's not just week in, week out, it's a day by day thing, It's amazing because the elder was saying, you can't just make yourself a prophet, If you was a prophet, you're going to do what prophets do. That's why, brothers is constantly in the news and constantly in the scriptures and constantly on the highways and hedges, constantly doing the will and the work of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Verse 2, and the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua answered me and said, write the vision, which is the prophecy, and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. You don't have to add anything to it. You ain't got to do no gimmicks. You break down the scriptures plainly. Verse 3, for the vision or the prophecy is yet for a appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. And that's multiple prophecies that's going to come, that MOTB. But the money will fail as well, because in order to bring in that new system that they want to bring in, that digital currency, they have to basically put an end to the old system, which is going to bring a lot of pain to a lot of people. I was just telling the guy at work, I was just talking about it last time. I was like, this nigga's such a nigga. But it's surprising to me how much niggas know. Like he said, he know what the MOTB is. Now I wonder if he know the name. But he's so, you could tell he got spirits on him though. Like he all over the place. A couple weeks ago he tell me he in love with the woman. Now he telling me, he one of them guys that telling you shit that you ain't even asking him. So I let him talk to himself a lot, and we constantly bumping heads because you have to see how this job is. This is a job where Esau really don't do shit. I mean, like I've had worse jobs, but it's just like just trying to hold on. You know what I'm saying? Because the way I look at it, like brother said, we could feel it. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, he say one thing and he contradict himself. So but through the spirit, I am going to ask him, because that's what, yeah, it's good to know that part, but the main thing the scriptures talk about in the book of Proverbs, the name of the Lord is a strong tower. So, you know what I mean? I remember, like that lady, Sonia Massey, she called on Jesus and got killed. So the name of the Lord, the true Savior, the true power of the universe is Yahweh. He exists by Hashem, meaning in the name Yahweh Shai, meaning he saves and he delivers. And though how I feel wholeheartedly that's the true name, because they can't stand that shit. Now, Salaki, you know what I mean. They can't stand the name of the Lord. Look at all this opposition. Vocab Malone, look, I can't stand that dude. Talking about some, yeah, God is weak. You know what I mean? I'm like, what? That dude is... And he probably going crazy. It was so spiritual how the elder did that, because the elder was like, just do this. So that just fucked up his whole game plan. He don't know what to do now. He gonna have to tell them people something. Verse, so the vision, which is the prophecy, like I said, when I read or quoted Isaiah 46 from the beginning, the Lord declaring the end from the beginning, you know what I mean? Everything has its time that it shall come to pass, So, certain prophecies seem like they start and stop. We was thinking back when Trump was in office that it was about to go down. But you can clearly see the climate and the temperature of this place spiritually. This place, these people is ready to, like, these people gonna eat each other. You know what I'm saying? They hyping this broad up, this Pamela, whatever the fuck her name, Kamala Harris. You know, and which is surprising me, you know what I mean? Because it's like, just look at that. They was able to raise that much money for her that quick, and they talking about that she's up and posed. That's what, because I watched this one economist, and you really think them red, true blooded red neck Americans go let this, man? And you can clear, man. Got her Timberland boots on. Salakia though, verse 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up in him. Salakia. Behold, his soul which is lifted up, because he's proud, is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Who is the just? It's talking about two different manner of people right there. His soul which is lifted up in him is talking about Esau Edom, because he's a proud man. But the just is Jacob. You know, it's gonna get to a point you ain't gonna have nothing but your faith, the name, and whatever knowledge and oil you were given. Verse 5. Yea, also because he transgressive by wine, he's a proud man. His wine is his philosophy. Neither keepeth at home. We see that now, you know, all over the Ukraine, all over all these other countries. Who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as deaf, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. How does he heap unto him all people? By his philosophies. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. So they ladeth themselves with thick clay, because when you go into that word clay, it's a batyat, and which means heavy debts. And this US dollar is a debt note that, you know, Russia and China, the BRICS nations, pretty much, you know, are pretty much getting up out from. You know, you got that SWIFT payment system. That's how they was able to sanction a lot of these countries. But from what I hear, BRICS saying that they're going to create a system pretty much that they can go bypass the SWIFT system. And when they do that, that's going to really fuck the game up. But the thing is, like the elders and everybody say, it's literally, this is the will of Satan though. Like, you got to remember, all these people that's in fighting and whatnot, they all trying to get the #1 spot. You know, it's through the spirit too, because I remember brother was like, he was gonna go into Ezekiel chapter 38, and then the elders been going into Ezekiel chapter 38. I was like, damn, that brother's in the spirit. But nah, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, when this go down, Russia is not gonna, you know what I mean, some kind of way gain back power, and we gotta fight them again. No, like, that doesn't make any motherfucking sense. You know what I mean? How is a mortal man gonna fight against a power? The book of Revelation chapter 6, and the point is verse 6, and it reads, and I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and wine. The oil and wine basically goes into, you know, this truth, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. But that penny, when you go into the Greek, is denarius, meaning a day's wage for a Roman soldier. And that day's, basically, is going to get to the point where hyperinflation is going to be so rampant that it's going to take a whole day's wage to buy a loaf of bread. Maybe a slice of bread, shit, you know what I'm saying? And that's when people gonna go in that mindset. Yeah, I mean, you know it's gonna be terrible here. Everybody got some kind of weapon. You know, you got other countries where people aren't, you know, because this is supposed to be the so-called civilized country. But, you know, in that movie, The Dark Knight Rises, when the Joker said it the best, he said these civilized people, they're gonna eat each other. Because they actually the most uncivilized. So this is the book of Genesis chapter 47 and verse 13. And there was no bread in all the land, for the famine was very sore, so that the land of Egypt, this is ancient Egypt, and the land of Canaan fainted by reason of the famine. And Joseph gathered up all the money that was found in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan. So Joseph was the son of Yasharallah, Israel. For the corn which they bought, and Joseph brought the money into Pharaoh's house. So when you go into the history of this, Joseph pretty much was put in a position by the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua to be pretty much the second in command, the viceroy of ancient Egypt. And he pretty much, he had a dream. You have to read the account on your own, but he had a dream about Egypt having 7 years of plenty and 7 years of famine. So he basically told Pharaoh for the 7 years of plenty, stockpile food. So for the 7 years of famine, if I'm not, I believe it was 7 years, if I'm not mistaken. It's lucky if I went off on a time frame, and that's why his father and his brothers, pretty much it wasn't any food in that area, because a famine doesn't mean a complete lack of food. It just means a scarcity of food, or the government controlling food, which they're doing now. They about to put everybody in a position, because the scriptures say, woe to them that go down to Egypt for help. Verse 15, the point, and when money failed in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan, all the Egyptians came unto Joseph and said, give us bread, for why should we die in thy presence? For the money faileth, and the money's gonna fail. And Joseph said, give your cattle, and I will give you for your cattle if money fail. And they brought their cattle unto Joseph, and Joseph gave them bread in exchange for horses, and for the flocks, and for the cattle of the herds, and for the asses, and he fed them with bread for all their cattle for that year. But the point is, pretty much they're going to sell everything to the point where they're going to sell themselves. And that's what this devil is suspecting. That's what you got to remember. This is something they did before. You got to remember the Great Depression. He just said, like, where they had to feed motherfuckers soup through soup lines and all that shit. You know what I mean? And it's so amazing because you had a lot of, like my dad was born around the Great Depression. So, a lot of the older generation, they never really trust banks. They a lot of older people I know would not, like I had an uncle named Uncle Lee, and he was like my great uncle or something. My dad used to call him Uncle Lee. But when he died, he had a suitcase full of money. I don't know how much money it was or none of that, but he saved his money. He was one of them old schools like that. He didn't trust no banks because they lived through a time where they saw, scripture say, cursed be the man that trusteth in man. So yeah, I mean, the Lord is going to put a lot of people in a position of difficulty. But I was listening to the brother, Sha'ar from Dallas. I met that brother. That's a beautiful brother. He did a beautiful lesson about how we're gonna have to go through the pretty much we're gonna have to go through Shit Creek. You know what I mean? We all gonna be put in the and he used the analogy of Shawshank Redemption. When you go into Matthew chapter 7, the straight gate, we gonna have to go through a position of difficulty to reach that other side. And Shawshank Redemption, I can't think of his name. Tim Robbins, he pretty much had to go through a sewer drain, so he had to go through all the shit and everything in order to get his freedom. We about to have to go through a lot of shit to get ours. But if you are of the elect, the Lord got you. You know what I mean? He said something that actually inspired me today. He said, no matter what you're going, he said, praise the Lord. No matter what you're going through, whatever the Lord puts you, whatever your lot is. And I'm looking back, thinking about, what I played in my part and what the Lord doing, and I was just like, I'm grateful that I still believe. You know what I mean? It's a beautiful song that the brothers have made. I don't know the brothers that made it, but of course, I was amongst the brothers. But it's a song called "Please Don't Take the Spirit Away from Me." And may he not. I mean, it's too close to the end. I will never go back in the world. Like, I'll probably do something crazy or some carnal shit before I go back in the world. Like, this is the truth. Even more so, the Lord just took me through this. Like, I recognize the truth. I don't know what the Lord got in store. You know what I mean? Because again, I'm seeing how it played out. But that brother made a beautiful point. He said, you could be right in the actual physical sense, but be wrong spiritually, so the Lord taking you to something. And that shit cut, because I was just praying to the Lord like, damn, Lord, why did you do this? You know what I mean? I didn't, but at the same time, I did expect certain things. But, like I said, when I really sit and look at the situation for what it is, it's like, damn. But you know what? I'm going to be honest. I ain't really petrified or scared either. Because like I said, if you are the elect, no matter what your circumstances is, the situation, the Lord got you. And if you're not, you know, it don't matter if you with brothers or not. You know what I'm saying? Like that, you know what I mean? Like that's the truth of the matter. I'm still a believer though. And I wish all the true believers to literally, you know, the Lord be with all of us, because we about to come into them times. So I'm gonna end the lesson. If you're a Black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, I implore you to come back to the laws, statutes, commandments of your power, whose true name in the Hebrew is Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, or you will be destroyed. And with that, I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to call Elohim La Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem Chakodesh B'Katham. I say double honors to my apostles, the elders of the great millstone, who teach and do rule well. Peace and salutation to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and the freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Aqua, thought they're listening and learning. Lord willing, this was edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but subscribing to this truth. To you, I say shalom. Till next time I'm able to come with another lesson, I'm going to say shalom, shalom, Kwam Yasher Allah.